time, and it just no one's going to hear it. Now we're recording. Okay. Welcome to the Restoration Roundtable. I'm Andy McCabe. I just said a whole bunch of stuff live on the Facebook page that you're not going to hear because you weren't there. All right, here we go. Restoration 2.0. The Restoration Rebels push the agenda of the Restoration 2.0 movement. Our purpose is to empower the insurance consumer in order to create a more fair claims process. Rebel rule number 1, I will protect the value of my service. Jake, mute me. No, I'm going to mute you. Too late. Done. Good to see you, Jake. I will never provide free services as these only serve to erode the value of contractor services. You're right. Nope, we're still getting somebody making noise. There we go. It was Sherry. Jake, I accused you wrongly. I apologize. Rebel rule number 2, I will practice incredible transparency. I will explain our processes in detail to my client. I will never hide details or manipulate reports. I will never communicate with a third party without also communicating with my client. Rebel rule number 3, I do not believe in competition. The restoration companies in my market are part of my community. I will be an active member of the restoration community. It is our unbreakable unity that will create the change that we strive for. Who all saw that meme that I put up? I was pretty proud of myself. Unbreakable unity. Yeesh. Rebel rule number 4. I am willing to walk away from any project, client, or contract that is not compatible with my values and stated mission. No relationship is worth taking part in if it requires losing money, sleep, or my humanity. Okay. Well, I'm going to get started here and mention what's happening right now. Right now, as we're speaking, there's 2 conferences that are happening that are going to have an impact on our stuff or what we do on a day-to-day basis. One of them is the RIA conference in Austin, Texas. We've got some rebels there. Any rebels calling into the roundtable that are in
here.
Austin?
Here's Clark. Me and Parker and Danny Strong. Me and Parker and Danny Strong are here.
There you go. Well, you're not on video, but you're on phone, it sounds like. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Can you see the attendees? You can't, can you?
Yeah, we can see everybody.
Oh, nice.
We're at dinner. We're at dinner right now.
Oh, there you are. There you are. You just popped up. So, you guys, I'll let you guys tell us what's going to happen at the what is going to happen at RIA this week. Why don't you give us a little preview? You got a schedule yet?
Well, I mean, I don't have the schedule yet. I may not be the best person to talk about it. Parker is finishing up his triple master this week, and he will be actually walking on stage and being anointed, if you will.
Nice.
And Danny, I think Danny, you're presenting at one of the events about cat losses. So we've got a couple of people attending that are participating and not only attending. I'm just here for the food.
Of course. It's Austin. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Good. Well, you guys represent us proud, do us proud. Don't get any real fights. Little skirmishes are okay, but no real fights. The second thing that's happening this week is Xactware's conference. I know that they had some early pricing discussions today leading into the conference, and those 2 conferences have a lot to do with what we do, right? On every day, especially Xactimate. So I want to talk about Xactimate real quick. I just had an epiphany this afternoon. We spend so much time fighting and arguing about things like overhead and profit and pricing and line items in Xactimate and this whole myth of 3-day drying. And it occurred to me today, if we didn't have Xactimate, if we were not using Xactimate, that would make those fights a whole lot harder to pick for adjusters. Adjusters would not be able to pick as good a fight because we are using a common tool, a common language, and we're using Xactimate out of courtesy to the insurance carriers and adjusters so we can initially it was thought of we could just do an apples to apples comparison and agree on scope and things like that. But what it's turned into is just a big hot mess of misinformation, miseducation, and I think this pricing issue is going to be the end of Xactimate. I'm calling it right now. It might take 5 years, but I'm calling it right here, February 13th, 2018. I think pricing is going to be the end of Xactimate, and here's why. They have allowed pricing to stagnate for 15 years, which means we need to make money in other ways, like charging overhead and profit. They also have been very, very quiet on any of the issues that are core to what we are as contractors on a daily basis. They've been all but silent on chiming in on things like overhead and profit, or 3-day drying, or any of these things that are standard estimating procedure. And we got folks like Actionable Insights that are doing a really good job of trying to educate us and the adjusters on how to use the program better and try to find more commonality and get a baseline. But I think it's too little too late. I think there's going to be a simpler solution. It's going to be outside of Xactimate. It's going to be priced independently, and the adjusters and carriers are not going to know what to do with it, because it's going to come out of nowhere, and we're all going to start using it because it's going to be very easy to use. It's not going to have a 3 and 4 year learning curve like Xactimate does, and you're going to bring on a whole new realm of contractors that don't need to know Xactimate, and that's going to be it. It's just going to be game over, and it's because we have not received what we need from Xactimate in order for us to thrive, survive, and thrive as contractors. So that's all I'm going to do on that front. We have a chat here. Who's opening the chat? Yeah, and we pay for it. 60%. I learned this week. 60% of Xactware's revenue comes from the contractors. So why are they not helping us more? Why are they not doing more to help? I mean, it would be very, very easy for Xactware to come out and just end the argument right here. They could end it tomorrow and say there is no overhead or profit consideration in any line item in Xactimate. Overhead and profit should be charged on every invoice according to each individual contractor's pricing or cost structure. That would end the argument. They just need to say it, but they won't. Why? Because they're owned by Verisk. So they're dead. They're going to be dead because they're not responding to their key constituencies. Just aren't. Okay. Speaking of Actionable Insights, I spent the week down in sunny San Diego with Mr. Mark Watley and Seth Harrison, taking level 3 Xactimate certification. That is no joke. That's just some serious stuff. My mind was blown almost on a daily basis trying to figure out how to stuff more information in my head. Very, very cool stuff that Xactimate has that very few of us know how to use. Another reason why the program's just too complicated. But I learned some really cool stuff. If you're not a member of Actionable Insights, spending $7 a month to learn everything there is to know about every associated line item with every other associated line item, do yourself a favor and just go sign up. It's $7. You spend more than that on coffee every day. So those guys are doing it right and doing some really good stuff. Okay, so I talked about pricing, the end of Xactimate. I talked about Actionable Insights, some Xactimate training.
I got it.
Yeah. What?
I was probably me. I'm trying to get things going here.
Go ahead. Yeah. Figure it out, Robert. What do you need?
I found my mute button. Thanks.
So let's talk about Jerry Edel. I know you're on the call, so you might be blushing here a little bit. I'm going to read for everyone else's edification, I'm going to read the blurb you sent me over here today.
Hey, be kind, buddy.
I am nothing but, my friend. Okay, here we go. The session is going to be titled The $4 Million Sales Opportunity You Never Saw. And I'm saying this to let everyone know what they're missing if they're not showing up at the Restoration 2018 Summit on May 4th and 5th. It's hard to imagine the $4 million sales opportunity you don't see. It comes in the front door and walks right out the back door unseen, unnoticed, and untouched by just about every restorer in the business. The good news is in this session you will see what it is, and you will learn how to capitalize on it and stop ignoring the gold mine of potential new business right inside your own businesses. Perfect. Worth the price of admission, right? Pay your $570, get your butt down to Nashville on May 4th and check it out. You can sign up on restorationrebels.com/events, I believe. So, man, I'm almost through everything I want to talk about. So before I go to the last piece, which I think might take up the rest of the day, which is okay, let's open the floor. Do we have anyone here for the first time? Doesn't look like it. Got some. Well, then, if we have no first timers, does anyone have a burning issue that we can help solve, or just want to get it off your chest? Mike, why don't you talk about the slow season we've had here on the back of last year's phenomenal season? What have you done as a business owner, restoration guy? Last year we just got buried here. Beyond buried. And this year we've got nothing. We've got barely any snow, barely any sub-freezing temperatures. Your volume had to have dropped off. So what are you doing to adjust? What things are you doing?
Fortunately for us, we had enough workload that came through from last year in repairs that we're just about finished with everything, but we've been working right on through that stuff. The hard part's been finding, with the building economy in Central Oregon the way it is, finding subcontractors to do the work has really extended the length of the projects. I'm used to setting a schedule and having it done, and that's been very difficult. The other thing is also finding competent employees, which everybody across the nation's running into that. But fortunately, to date, we haven't had a whole lot of challenges in trying to stay busy. That may change in the next 2 weeks, though, because we're just about to come to the end of several of these projects.
Wrapping some stuff up. Well, we might have a late season freeze, and we'll go to town. Yeah, it snowed yesterday, so there's that.
There was a solid sheet of ice from Redmond all the way to Prospect yesterday. So. Oh
man. Well, that's the other thing you've done, right? Your Prospect is not in your regular service area. Neither is Klamath Falls. So you're driving a lot. You've increased your service area in response to this. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, I spent a lot of time behind a windshield. Me and my windshield have probably a more intimate relationship than me and my wife. So.
Well, what are you? The seats in your truck, the lovely King Ranch leather has something to do with that. If y'all had never ridden in a King Ranch or driven a King Ranch, you're missing out. Just go test drive one. I will own another one again. Anyway, side note. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for sharing. It's been weird, but what I'm hearing is it was so busy last year. There's plenty of overflow coming through, and then we just might have a normal spring, and then back to business as usual. And I'm guessing that's what it's going to be like the rest of the country on a delayed action. So Texas is going to have the same thing. So you're not going to slow down in Texas until September, October this year, working through those projects. And then Nashville, Memphis, not going to slow down. Well, they just got hit last month. So yeah, anyway, it's gonna follow that same thing. I'm sorry, here's some yelling. Okay, never mind. No emergencies. I don't hear any blood curdling screams, just the normal stuff. All right. All right, no one else has anything else to say. We're going to get right into what really destroyed my afternoon because I couldn't suck myself away from it. We've got, I know it's not a, how do I put this? I'm trying to put this politically correct. We know we're not alone in this group. We know that the people in this group are not just restoration company owners and operators and technicians and project managers. We know for a fact that we have insurance adjusters, we have claims managers, we have other ancillary people that are associated with our industry sitting and lurking and watching. So we had something come up today as a screen capture from another group. And I'm going to take this opportunity because this video always goes live, or goes, you know, from here it goes onto YouTube, and then from YouTube I publish it on LinkedIn. So way more than just our group sees this, and that's why I give fair warning before we start recording every week. I'm gonna let all y'all out there, not in this room, out there. We know you're here, and guess what? We're in your groups too. We're watching you. So I think that I would not change my messaging dependent on my audience, because I believe in my core what I'm saying is true. So I'll say it here, I'll say it on LinkedIn, I'll say it wherever I am. But if you are telling a different story, depending on your audience or depending on which group you're in, someone's going to find out. And I'm also going to say thank you. I'm going to take it as a compliment when someone, the subject of overhead and profit comes up in an adjusters group, and someone says, what are you, one of those McCabe 2.0ers? I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for that, because guess what? What you're doing is passing on our message whether you like it or not. So that's the best promotion we can get, is people poo-pooing or naysaying or putting us down. Somebody else is listening. And I guarantee there's a 2.0er, a McCabe 2.0er out there who's going to hear this complaining and go, well, what's that? And check it out, and then come join us and be a part of the team. So I'm for it. I'm all for it. We have dispatched our undercover operatives across the interwebs, and we're going to start just screenshotting and recording everything we see. And so that's just a fair warning. Be careful what you're doing out there. We don't have to be careful what we're doing in here, because we believe what we're saying is true. If I put a meme out there that says, oh, silly adjuster, that wasn't very smart, maybe it wasn't very smart, right? Maybe what you're doing is not helping the industry at large. Maybe what you're doing is contrary to what policy language says. Maybe what you're doing is not going to help settle this claim in a fair fashion. So there, anyone have anything to say on that? Who saw that today? Anyone see that today? Ryan, what do you got to say? Jake, Ryan and Jake. Ryan first, then Jake. Let me give me your impressions on what went down.
I mean, the biggest thing is no one can stay professional. It's just astonishing how they just take it a different way.
Well, it was piling on, right? And somebody said, well, I think, someone said, I forget who it was, and I'm not going to name them anyway. They said, well, they're not obligated to use Xactimate. They can use their own pricing structure. And then they just piled on, right? I mean, it was like blood in the water, right? Piranhas started circling.
It just excites me to see it another group then come into the conversation.
That tells me we're doing something right and we're making an impact. These These are powerful symbols. People
Yeah.
recognize them now. People,
There's just so much brewing in the group all the time that once I actually see it outside of the group, it's like, this is awesome.
I agree.
Yeah.
I commented on it towards the very end, so I really haven't got much blowback from it. But I mean, none of the questions I posed in my comment got any sort of answer at all. I mean, it's just danced around. I'm just asking simple questions.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, where did you get that information? I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, you know where I stand on it, man. Back when I was having a conversation about having the signature and emails and stuff, I like the publicity of it and everything. It excites the hell out of me. I'm not afraid for it to be known. I want it to be known. You know, I want everyone to know who we are, know what we're about and stuff.
You guys should see the hearts and happy faces going on Facebook right now. This is phenomenal. Yeah. It's so the last point I need to make and hit home is we need to be above name calling, negativity, just dragging people through the dirt. I will expose and I will call out companies, like I've said before. I will call out carriers on just being dumb. But we all need to be careful not to make it personal. Not to A, take it personal, and B, make it personal and with personal attacks, right? Everything we post, we want to redact names and policies, numbers, and everything else. We want to be above the fray. We don't want to come with a, hey, you're just dumb argument. We need to come with a, hey, you're incorrect because A, B, C, D, and E. Or your interpretation of the S500 is wrong because A, B, C, and D. You know, someone showed up today with a nationwide adjuster saying the S500 says the standard dry time is 3 days. Well, I must have missed that entire chapter in the S500 because I don't think it exists. But obviously Nationwide is getting a different version of the S500 if that's what it is. But the reality is they're just uneducated. They're uneducated, and I don't believe, based on what I saw today, that they can be educated. So let's spend our energy on us. Let's spend our energy on each other. Let's not try to argue with the ignorance or change the mindset of someone who doesn't have an open mind. You can't change a closed mind. You just can't. So I welcome you guys going out to other groups, seeing what's there, but don't think for a minute you can change a mind. Don't think for a minute you can influence an adjusters group to look at things the way the Restoration 2.0 guys do. The rebels will find us. Right? The mindsets that we believe, we want to work with people who believe what we believe. Simon Sinek. I mean, if you don't know him, go out and find him. Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K. We will attract those who believe what we believe. And then our movement, which we just crossed 1,770 folks in the group, which is awesome. Our movement will grow because we are core to us. And we lift each other up. And the positivity and the positive energy that we're going to use and reach down and pull each other up, that's going to shine. That's the long play. No matter if we use Xactimate or TPAs or any of the other stuff out there, we are still going to be here because the work still needs to get done. And I think it requires a high caliber individual to run these types of companies. So, all right, I think I did that to death. Gosh, what else? What else we got, man? I'm it. That's it. That's it. Well, yeah. Go ahead, Robert.
Like, I hope I ain't passing out any trade secrets or nothing, but like how some of the franchises put on continuing education courses, classes for adjusters. Why can't we do the same thing in an educational way to the adjusters as a Restoration 2.0 or as individuals of our own companies? Do that ourselves. I mean, it takes a lot to put it together, but
No, it doesn't, and I'll tell you why. Because Actionable Insights already has a package. They have a platform, an education. It's an agnostic, if you will, platform. It doesn't sway towards contractors or adjusters, and it's a perfect place to do exactly that type of education. They hold, I think it's quarterly in the markets. They have groups set up. They have quarterly educational events, and it's usually a packed house. So I will invite Mark Watley when he gets back from Salt Lake to, or is it Orem? I don't know where that conference is, probably Salt Lake, to share more of that with us. I have volunteered to be an ambassador for Actionable Insights in Portland, Oregon, and I think that's, Robert, you're exactly right. And why reinvent the wheel? Let's use their platform and use their educational materials, because it's top notch and it's leading edge stuff. No one else is doing Xactimate education as well as Actionable Insights. So let's offer is outreach, reach across the aisle to those who will hear us or come. Let's reach across the aisle in a and the other thing is, if we do a Restoration 2.0 or a Restoration Rebel educational event, we're not going to get adjusters there. They're just not going to show up. So I will invite Mark Watley to let us educate us on what that looks like, and how we can maybe set those up in our home markets. You're exactly perfect. It needs to be done, and that's the only way we're actually going to create the dialogue that we need. Who else want to say something? Somebody piped up.
I did.
Yeah, Bob.
Going back to your Xactimate, I hear when we first started talking about the pricing.
Absolutely.
Judgment in the air.
What really grabbed my attention, and I did some digging into it, is I know they always say, good feedback and all that, what Ben Justin does, and I understand that. But the Xactimate hasn't been fair with anybody for a long time. Looking at the inflation rates, that never has been added. We went back to an old price list 10 years ago, put down 20 of the most common things we use, and then fast forward to this year, and some of those price items stayed the same or actually went backwards. So then I went and looked at my homeowner's policy, and it says in my homeowner's policy there's an inflation rate of 1.25% per quarter. My agent, I said, how far does this go? Well, we stop at 3. So I did a little more homework, looked around in my area, average is about 3% for inflation. So if I went back to the 2007 price list and put in, well, now 11 years, but when I did it was 10 years, and it compounded that, I mean, the prices were basically in line where we should be. And it kind of pisses me off that Xactimate never even took into consideration of inflation rates over all that time.
They left it up to us.
Yeah.
But they didn't tell us.
They didn't tell us, and we're in a market area where we have a lot of franchises that don't care to report. They just don't want to rock the boat.
I don't know about that. I'm
ones I've seen around here, they haven't anyway.
Okay, well, I know some bigger franchise guys, and they're all about it. They're all about pricing feedback, but they have the same problem we do: is convincing their competitor, quote competitor across the aisle, that they need to do it on a coordinated basis. And there's another reason why I don't believe Xactimate is here for the long term. It's not easy. It's if I want to change the roofing efficiencies or change what perfect example. Okay, how many roofing line items? Just RFG 200, RFG 200S, RFG 240, RFG 240S, RFG 300. I mean, how many? What, 10? Let's say there's 10 different asphalt shingle line items. If I want to change the default labor for the removal of that line item from DMO, which is wrong, right? We all know that. You all understand that, right? Who doesn't understand the trade the removal of roofing is a DMO labor trade. Who there's someone that I'll just go through it real quick. You know what? I'll do you one better. Oh, what if I open Xactimate and do a screen share? This will be a first, a worldwide first, an Xactimate screen share on the Restoration Roundtable. Let's see if I can make it happen. So as I'm talking here, I'm gonna type my password. The removal of roofing in Xactimate. Xactimate puts a labor trade on that, and the labor trade is DMO. Well, the DMO labor has its own built-in, burden, overhead, well, not overhead, but different pricing, all right? But if you go into, I'm gonna get to roofing before I share my screen. If you go into Labor Ready and say, hey, I need, oh no, what happened? Come back. I need some laborers, and they're gonna ask you, what are your laborers, what are we doing? And you say, we're gonna be removing roofing. They're gonna say, nope, you can't have them because we don't have the proper workers' comp insurance to cover them to do that work. No one has workers' comp to cover their demo guys to do roofing work. If you're going to be off the ground 10 feet in the air, you got to have, PPE, not PPE, but you got to have lanyards and safety gear on. That labor is on a different, there's a different risk associated with that. So, all right, hold on a second. Are you guys hearing that feedback? Okay, I'm going to go. We're almost there. All right, so how do I'm going to do a screen share. Oh, big red button. We're going to do this. Share screen. Who can see this screen? Everybody see that screen? Okay, thumbs up. We're going to go to my roofing. I'm going to peel this over here. Let's look at RFG 240S. We're going to come into this handy little button here to show me what goes into that. Oh, that's the material. I'm going to increase the screen a little bit more. Okay, so here's the removal. Okay, so we're in the unit price tab of RFG 240S, 3-tab, 25-year comp shingle roofing without felt. Remove price, $49.78 per square. Look at this trade, DMO. We know as business owners and operators, we can't put a demo guy on a roof. We can't. We just can't. OSHA, workers' comp, whole lot of different reasons. So we come down here and change this labor trade. We're going to change it to RFG. Holy smokes, what's that number? Who can read that? $126.65 a square. So we went from 43 or whatever it was to $126 a square. We're increasing this removal line item by $80 a square. Why? Because it's the most accurate thing to do. Now, if I want to change this price in my price list, yes, I can do it once for 240S. How many other roofing items are there? Well, let's just open this list. Oh my God, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. What? Oh, 40, 50? In order to change the price, just change this one item in my price list, if I want to do a custom price list, I have to do this same action 50 times. And then that's just roofing. That's just one item. What if I want to change the efficiencies, which, by the way, are just bogus? I'm going to turn it. I'm getting some weird feedback here. I'm going to shut down Xactimate. I'm thinking that's my problem. It's a CPU intensive program, that's for sure. All right. Nope. Still hearing some feedback from somebody. Everyone, make sure they're muted. Ryan David is talking, so I'm guessing that's Ryan David. Where's Ryan David? No. Everyone's muted. Anyway, might just be me. Okay. Alicia, you got a question. What's your question, Alicia? Let me try to unmute you myself. There. How about that?
No, I just raised my hand when you were asking high fives.
Not a girl. Okay. Okay, so back to my point. It is just incredibly hard to change your price list and make it accurate. And then how many times do you update that every year? 3 times, 4 times? Ben Justison does it every month. But and he says he does it in 20 to 30 minutes, which he might be that good. He might have, but the labor efficiencies are wrong. The labor rates are wrong. The labor trades are wrong. And I mean, there's so much wrong. There's so much low. If you're going to change a price list, it's just too much. It should be easier. And Xactimate should be helping us. Xactimate should be giving us a form that we fill in. Hey, what's your workers' comp multiplier? What do you pay your guys that are drywalling? What do you pay your water techs? Because I guarantee it's not. If you're paying them right, it's not $16 an hour. It's way more than that. Do you put your guys in trucks? Do you put them in uniforms? Do you give them health care? All these things go onto the labor rate as burden, and you're going to change them all, and it's really hard. I'm going up to Yakima to learn it from Ben Justison so I can help contractors do this, but it should be easier. It just should be a whole lot easier. Anyone have anything to say about pricing in Xactimate besides Bob? I mean, well, no. Okay, Bob. No, go ahead, Bob.
So what we did to make it easier, we just kind of walked away from it, took those old prices, compounded it, and put it into QuickBooks. Made our own price list in QuickBooks, and bam, there you go. Invoice done, one time in.
And guess what? Bam, you're getting paid.
Getting paid. The adjusters don't have anything to compare to. They don't know what they're looking at.
No.
And I've had a couple come back worried about the O&P. Didn't say anything about the prices. I mean, the prices have shot up 36%.
Yeah. And guess what? We adjust the pricing accordingly on the emergency services side. We build our overhead and profit in. We don't need to show overhead and profit. We build it in.
And we can do an estimate faster.
Much. Well, not faster than me. Not faster than me.
Oh, pretty darn fast. Don't even need to do a drawing. Only thing we got to do is extract the carpet, get the square footage. Everything else is by the hour. Taking out drywall and trims, all by the hour.
And it's easy. And that's the way it should be.
Yes. So much easy. So much. We don't miss anything. How many times are you putting something in the dumpster up only to walk around the back of the house, go around to the front of the house to get it into the dumpster? How many people miss the extra labor time to do that? Simple things like that. Now you're charging by the hour. It's all captured.
And then you're avoiding all these games of, well, I don't believe that you had a dumpster there full of trash. You better show me a picture of that dumpster. No, I'm not showing you a picture of a dumpster. Here's my labor. Here's my invoice. It's so easy. And I say this hesitantly because I make a living. I make my living writing Xactimate estimates. So I'm actually foretelling the end of my business as I know it or as it's currently configured. But I think it's a good thing. If it should be easy. It should be simple. We shouldn't have to hassle. We shouldn't have. Here's the other thing. I think I said this 2 weeks ago. I wasn't on last week's call, but I definitely said this 2 weeks ago. If it was easier, if it was not as frustrating, we wouldn't exist. The rebels wouldn't exist. Easiest way to make us go away, make our lives easier. Don't make this whole thing mumbo jumbo so complicated, and don't steal from me. You know, I don't know. I read a lot. I read this group a lot. I don't comment a lot. I don't have a lot of time, but I want you guys to know I would say 90% of the content that comes through the group. And we have invoices that an adjuster, it started at $21,000, an adjuster wants to pay $11,000 on it and is pushing for that. That's a $10,000 theft, all right? And if we start thinking about it that way, that will change how we approach it. They are stealing $10,000 from me. Well, if someone walked into your house and picked up $10,000 and walked out with it, you might do something about it, right? But because it's an insurance company and an adjuster, we try to play nice. We try to get along. No room for that in my mind. No room for that. You want to come to me and talk to me about it? You want to have a dialogue? I'm all about dialogue. But just to come out of the gate, here's what we're paying. I'm stealing $10,000 from you? No, sir. So, we're not even at an hour yet, folks. Wow, this is a quiet group tonight. All silent, polite. We don't have to be polite here. This is our group. Go ahead,
Okay,
Mike.
Andy. It's Mike.
Yeah, man.
I was listening to Bob and talking about the his price list and some of the things you've been saying. I have started following the example of Ben with the creating my own price list. I basically at this point concentrated on labor rates, although doing a whole bunch of work by myself and knowing what I'm paying for materials, starting to check some of the material pricing and finding out how awful the pricing is. I mean, I went so far as to go on to Home Depot and Lowe's and start checking pricing and comparing it to Xactimate, and their materials prices are way off.
Really?
But there is in a lot of cases, in painting and drywall in particular.
Well, I was told last week that they actually check Home Depot pricing.
Well, they not according to the Bend, Oregon price list on Xactimate.
Okay.
That's where I started changing it.
Sure.
But at any rate, yeah, I know it's kind of a pain in the butt not to to have to make those changes. It's a pain in the butt, but it's a place to start. And rarely do adjusters or people shoving invoices do they see the fact that you have put in a different price list. And how I do ours is I just label it the same as it is, only with another suffix on the end of it. Ours is RI.
Yep.
But all they're really looking at is the line items that you're including in there.
Yep.
So you're right. If you want to change your burden so that it has the O&P built into it, you don't do it in a burden because they've got that automatically figured. But if you change it into the efficiency side of it, or as they call it, the overhead side of it, you can still add that into there and make that change, and it affects everything in that has that labor rate that's in the price list.
Yeah.
It's relatively simple. It takes
the easiest way to do it, for
20
sure.
minutes, and you're ready to go.
Because there's only so many labor trades. So
That's right.
Yeah, that's easier than going in and changing what I was showing y'all on the roofing side of life. But yeah, even that. I mean, think about it, folks. For those of you who have not opened up the price list side of Xactimate, I invite you to just open up the price list. Go into it's next to control panel, says price list. Go in there, double click on it, and go start playing with it. Just look at that, and what you'll find is it's just fascinating. So Xactimate or the powers that be at Xactimate have determined that a water damage technician is twice as efficient as a demolition guy, based on the demolition labor efficiency, or labor. What do they call that? It's escaping me. It's set at 33%, meaning that 33% of their time is wasted on this or that, in between or breaks or whatever. But the labor efficiency on a water damage technician is 0.15. So what did I say? 2 times? Okay, they're twice as efficient as a demo guy. I would argue that a water damage technician is actually less efficient than a demo guy. Demo guy has to take stuff out and put it in a dumpster.
And talk to a crying homeowner and all that kind of crap.
Oh yeah, water what did they say, demo guy? Water tech. I mean, you got to sign paperwork. You got to take readings. You got to take phone calls because guess what? This isn't the only job you're handling that day. You'd be lucky to get 33% efficiency. So those are all things you can change when you open up your price list and look at labor. And I would invite everyone to do that. Just changing it from 0.15 to 0.33. You're going to increase your revenue. And as Watley was telling me, it's straight to the bottom line. Because guess what? We're making it now, right? We increase our prices by 15%. Where does that 50% go? Right to our bottom line. Somebody posted last week, thanks to being able to charge overhead and profit and these other pricing things, we, for the first time in our company's history, we're able to offer healthcare to our employees. That's what it's about. This isn't about vacations and big racing boats, right? This is about providing for our families and our employees' families and building a business we can be proud of and providing for the humans in our care. Because guess what? Leaders are caregivers. Leaders are in charge. We don't manage people. A true leader takes care of their employees in every way, puts them first. So I know Jerry's looking over there for the book Leaders Eat Last. He's looking for it. Probably didn't see it, but it's got to be over there. I'm sure you got it. Great book, Leaders Eat Last. Simon Sinek, once again. Start with why. There you go. And boom. Oh, what's that? Everybody Matters. Who's that? Ooh, that's a new one. Is it Simon Sinek? Oh, it's somebody. Okay. If I like that, Everybody Matters. All right, I'm gonna go buy a new book on Amazon tonight. Okay. Alicia says, an adjuster called me and asked where I got our prices since they didn't match theirs. Yeah, that's funny. Silly adjuster. Where did I get them? Well, guess what? I run a contracting business. I have set costs and I understand my burdens, so I adjusted my pricing accordingly so I can make a decent profit at the end of the day. You got a problem with that? And they're going to go, they don't know. They don't know. But they do know how to count 3 days versus 4 days. They do know how to just count things and go by a perverted version of the S500 or whatever they're using and knock things down that they recognize. You throw something at them they don't recognize, they don't know what to do with it. You know, so I'm with Bob and Christine. Maybe we're all going to do our mitts outside of Xactimate just because it's easier, it's simpler. So, all right, one more look over at
anybody wants to help see how to figure out, they can PM me and I'll help them out. Kind of what the steps how we went through this. Everybody's area is different. Obviously, it's not like one fits all. So you need to do your little bit of homework, but I can show you how to get there.
Good. All right. So, this feed goes in reverse. Okay. Mark Tritter. Let's read that. We've been getting pushback from adjuster peer reviews. Oh, we don't have another hour. Peer reviews. Okay, I'm breathing. In the report they give to the customer, they make you look like a crook because of the difference in pricing from the base Xactimate list. Yes, they do. Or we get pushback for simply adding O&P. Can't win either way. Everything is a fight to collect the money we all truly earn. You're right, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a fight. And these peer reviews, there's a reason I put the rule in there. We don't give away free estimates. These peer reviews, man, if you're a contractor out there, and I know no one in here does this, but I'm gonna speak to the camera again and just say, all y'all out there that are doing peer reviews for peanuts, stop it. You're a crook. Guess what? If you give an adjuster ammunition to reduce my invoice by 50%, you are stealing from me. You're a crook. You are not helping this industry. So stop it or find a new industry because we're going to figure it out. Who's the other? Rytech? Is that a company out there? Rytech doing these peer reviews? What do you hope to accomplish from that? Do you think you're going to earn anything from these adjusters by doing this? You're just a number. You're just another cog in the wheel. Don't play that game. Don't allow them to play that game with our money. Be a better contractor than that. Go out and get your own work. Do good work and let that speak for itself. Stop with this peer review bullshit. All right. Was that harsh enough? Did I get that through? Okay. All right. Well, I think for the first time in Restoration Rebel Roundtable history, we're going to stop early. I'm just going to call it a night. 6:22. Oh, Ryan David, latecomer. Got a question. Yeah, I knew as soon as I said it, we're going long, baby. We're going long. All right, Ryan, what you got? I can't hear a word you're saying. Let me see here. No, you're not muted. You got the fancy earbuds in. I can see that. Oh. Oh. My watch is talking to me, but you're not talking to me. He'll figure it out. All right. We may not end early. Let's see here. Do I need to post that? Okay, Sherry's saying I need to post that. If you are doing peer reviews and saying I'm charging too much, you are stealing from me. Okay, I'll post that. I'll do that. There might be a meme in the near future. I don't know. Kind of a meme guy. Y'all catch the meme of me and Clark. It's my new favorite. I'm just gonna post it everywhere.
Oh, how about while we're waiting for David?
Yeah.
David, why don't you maybe give an update on how we're doing with those summit numbers and stuff?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's just open up that page. Eventbrite. I believe we may be approaching the 100 ticket level here. Let's see here. Manage events. Thank you, Bob. Thank you for that. I did want to mention that. I just didn't write it down. Let's see here. Come on, Cletus. We have 94 tickets sold, but that includes sponsorships. Okay, so 76 plus 6, that's 80. 82. Thank you. Down. Okay, plus 6 add-ons for sponsors. So those sort of count. They make a little money. So 82 plus 6. So we're 88 tickets sold, 88 attendees confirmed. We've got our premier title. Thank you, K&J Products, for that. I can't shout out enough for those guys. They are the premier sponsor for the whole event. We've got a lunch sold. We could sell one. We got 3 more of those available. We've got a refreshments ticket sold. We got 3 more of theirs available, and we got all kinds of other sponsor stuff. We've got room for 7 more trade show booths. So here's where the Restoration Rebel Nation comes in. Not all y'all can attend this event. I get it. I understand. I'm not expecting all 1,700 of you to show up. If you did, we'd have to get another hotel. But you can spread the word. You can tell folks, man, I love this group, and they're having this event, and I think you'd be a great. You get a lot out of it. Or, hey, I know somebody at Sunbelt. I think they might be interested in sponsoring this event. Reach out to your networks. We can sponsors of all kinds, and we've got plenty of room for attendees. So yeah, get the word out there. We're doing well. I think how far out are we? Almost 3 months? 3 months out. We're doing better than we were last year, I'll tell you that. Last year was down to the wire. But we didn't need as many folks. We got a bigger venue. It's more national scale. So yeah, get the word out there. Spread the link and spread the love. All right, David, sounds like you're in.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's the Mardi Gras. I'm telling you. You just got to shake it off a little bit today. Hey, real quick, going back, two things. Number one, for Mike Davis, comparative cost. I've been looking at this very in depth. They must be using some national database to draw these numbers off of, because they are not locally priced.
Okay.
Not even close.
Okay.
Especially in regards to paint and drywall. Number two, changing the prices. I've been dealing with that a lot too. I haven't been going through the efficiencies. I've been going through that labor tab and going down per job, per item, looking at what I'm paying my guys, paying my market rate, not just within the remediation side, but on the rebuild side. And it is horribly inaccurate. I am curious to talk to Mr. Bob here about how he's pushing that over into QuickBooks, doing more of a time T&M mentality. Been trying to get that accomplished, but before I do that, for the initial pushback, I've been throwing the price sheet back in their face through those labor modifications, proving if it takes it to that point, going with jobs that were non-insurance related.
Sure.
Yeah, give me a call.
Well, why differentiate? Why say insurance versus non-insurance? Why not just use one method for all of them?
Well, that's my point. My point is, I don't see why theirs is so horribly, grossly inaccurate, because it's sure not reflective of the local market.
Yeah, well, I know I have it on good information. Good, that's the wrong term, but I'll use it anyway, that they do use Home Depot pricing, but it sounds like they might use an aggregate or an average. And back to, that doesn't make any sense. I was told differently. All right, I'm going to have to dig a little deeper. I'm going to have to go back to my...
Well, their pricing is also regional.
Right, but if it's regional, then the material should be keeping up with things like surge events, right?
Well, not according to what I see, because I've also worked numerous regions. So say Central Texas will be totally different than Southwest Louisiana. And yet, if you look at the price sheet, there's no difference.
Yeah, well, that's therein, it goes back to us. The onus is on us to price our services properly, and Xactimate just does not give us a user-friendly way to do it. Xactimate, are you listening? Are you in a conference right now? You're not drinking, because I know you're in Utah, so listen up. All right, mate. Was that a little too far? Yeah, maybe. All right. God, yeah, and that's why it hit me today. It really hit me today that this is the reason that Xactimate will not exist, because someone is going to come along and just build a simpler mousetrap. Give me $2 million in about a year, and I'll do it for you. Hint, hint, nod, nod to all you VCs out there. But in the meantime, someone's going to look at this market, $350 billion annually. Someone's going to look at this market, $65 million in revenue for Xactware last year. Come on. It's just there. There's so much easier ways to do it. Oh, Matterport. I'm excited about Matterport. Who y'all used Matterport cameras before or seen the results? The 3D view, you go through a house. No, nobody on the call. I'm telling you what, I'm going to break this thing out and start using it on a whole lot more claims. You can take a camera, you can hire somebody in a local market that has one of these cameras, and you can get a scan from them with measurements, and then you look at this thing and it's like you're literally walking through the house. And you pick a point and you turn, you pick a point and you zoom in, you zoom out. There is technology, but guess this, another reason Xactimate is going away. They have jealously held their API so close that they've blocked out any other developers from tying into their platform. It's so short-sighted. You should be open API. You should invite everybody to develop things that tie into your platform. That's what gives your platform longevity. But since they've been so jealous of it, people are forced to develop their own things on their own timelines, And take Matterport. They've got a great on-site takeoff tool, very accurate to the millimeter, very accurate. What if they build some pricing into their stuff? Who says they can't? There's no rules against that. All of a sudden, we start using things that are more accurate than the tape measure that the adjusters are using, right? I'm excited to see the technology in the next couple of years. All right, now we're officially 2 minutes over, so there goes finishing early. I got to tell you guys, it gets more exciting every week. We have 14 people in here. We got a few people watching on the Facebook feed. It's not our biggest week, but it doesn't matter. We are being seen. Let's recap what we talked about tonight. We are being seen. We are being paid attention to. We are being hated on, which is the biggest compliment we could ever receive. And we're getting bigger. We're having influence. So if you can get out there, get the word out. Let's pack the house in Nashville. Let's make this thing happen. The energy coming off of last year was tremendous. We're going to snowball it into this year's summit. And hell, if it's successful enough, we might do a fall summit. We'll see. But keep loving on each other. Keep reaching down and picking each other up. Reach across the aisle. Reach across the street to your competitors. Make a friend out of your competitors. Get on the same page. Let's roll this ball forward. And we will see you guys this week in the Facebook group. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace, y'all.